Children Shalom, we're here in Zichron Yaakov on a wonderful rainy day in Adar 5781, March 2021. Each of you has made magnificent contributions already to Medinat Yisrael and Am Yisrael. Diana and Julia, both of you served in the Army and were honorably discharged. Lily is presently an officer in the Army. And those contributions are magnificent, and at the same time you need to recognize that with all of your great contributions you couldn't have done it all alone. You're standing on the shoulders of, as the saying goes, giants. So this is going to be a video about your family tree, the family tree on my side, both the Khan side and the Fruchtman side. And I'm going to close the blinds so we can dispense with some of the glare. And this is the family tree we're going to talk through. I'm going to try and do this once. And it's exceptionally large. This table is 13 feet long. And I'll be talking from that ladder. And I'll walk over there now. All of this, when we're done with this video, is going to get boxed up and sent to Dennis Paley in Atlanta. He and I are talking about family tree items presently, and I'll make our own copy for here. All right, so climbing the ladder. The key chart to all of this is this one, the top one in the middle. That is kind of a roadmap, and it's got Schrager-Dubin on the chart. And it's got Yanko Schrager, and it mentions many other members of the family whose names appear elsewhere. Now, the thing about creating a family tree is you do end up with repetition of names because people naturally appear on more than one chart. So we try to follow things along, and that's what these strings are for. So the right side is the Dubin side. We're going to get to that. We're going to start with the Schrager side over here. This is Yanko Schrager. And you can see so many strings originating from that line of the tree, that branch of the tree. On the far left, the farthest left string is Gertie Schrager, and she married Max Kaiser, and we get to the Kaiser Schrager branch of the tree. And as you can see, that's a very long branch. And a lot of activity, a lot of strings coming from that branch, and we'll talk about that some more. In fact, maybe we should go down and hopefully be less confusing. I'm not sure how that's all going to work. All right, so anyway, so that the top left, Yanko Schrager. On the right, there's a little square, that's Shruel Schrager. And so we've got some of his family members shown there. And then below that little one, as we just spoke about a moment ago, is the Kaiser Schrager chart. The leftmost string on the Kaiser Schrager chart is Harriet Marks, Harriet Kaiser. She married Harvey Marks, and that's the Marks Kaiser branch of the tree, that string right there. And that goes down to the Marks family tree, which is quite long. Harvey has a big family, and Harriet has a big family, and it's quite a large branch of the tree. Okay, so we'll go back up to the Yanko Schrager tree, and then we see, well, from there it goes back to the Kaiser Schrager tree. Again, that's the second one down from the top. We talked about Harriet. We'll talk about Phyllis now. Phyllis Kaiser became Phyllis Bander when she married Al Bander, and the string is kind of a shortish string. Going to this here, that is the Bander Kaiser branch of the tree. Okay, Bander Kaiser. So we've talked about Harriet Kaiser, became Harriet Marks. We talked about Phyllis Bander, Phyllis Kaiser, who became Phyllis Bander. And now Carol Weiss is on here also, Carol Kaiser. We don't have a tree for the Weiss family, so there was no additional string to come down, but hopefully that will be corrected. We'll contact the Weiss family and ask them to help us out with that. Carol and Al and Marty and Monty and Doug. Okay, so that is the Kaiser branch of the tree. Going back up to Yankel Schrager, the leftmost string went to Kaiser. Now the second from the left is your great-grandmother, Lillian Kahn. And Lily, you are named after Lillian Kahn, as you know. And so this string goes down to the middle. That's the best I can do while standing on a ladder. And that is the Kahn-Schrager line. And it too is a busy line with several strings coming from it. There should be more. Reuben Kahn is on here, my Uncle Reuben. But we don't have any information about Julie Kahn's family, Julia Guralnik. I have written to Harley and Ilana already to ask for that information, but we're not going to hold up the video or the chart. We'll add it, and maybe we'll do another one of these because we would like to have as full charts as possible. So now we go on the Kahn-Schrager chart. Grandma Little at the second string at the top left, going into the middle, almost the very middle of this. And then that is Grandma Phyllis. Phyllis Kahn married, of course, Grandpa, Robert Fruchtman. And they come down to the Fruchtman Kahn family tree, and that's what this is. There's lots of interesting stories for all of the squares on the tree. And I put a note on the left corner of this one about one story. And we're not going to go through that now, but it's interesting. So we will return to the Fruchtman family tree at the end of this. Let's keep going with the Schrager tree. All right, so we have Gertie, we've got Lillian, we've talked about who's next on here? Yes. An interesting story that we are going to talk about right now is a brother-sister combination, and that's because Evelyn Schrager married Art Paley, and Art Paley's sister Sonia married Jack Schrager. And so we have two strings from the tree going from the Yankel Schrager line to the Paley chart, because Sonia's a Paley and Art is a Paley. And this all the way over here, two strings going to it, very long, is the Paley chart. It's this one kind of in the middle here. It's got two strings coming into it, one coming off of it. The one coming off of it is the Art Paley tree. Okay. And unfortunately, we have many videos of these. And Phyllis Bander was a regular feature carrying her video camera back in the 80s. So I think within the Bander family, there is probably video of many of the people who we're talking about here. Probably almost all of them who are younger than Yankel Schrager. Maybe not that, maybe one generation more. Okay, anyways, so that's the Schrager tree. and I think we've covered that now. We've talked about the Marks line. We've talked about the band line. We did not finish with this. There's another string missing. And Paul, if you're watching this, I apologize. And that's the Goldenberg string. And because Helen Goldenberg, Helen Schrager, married, I think it was Irving Goldenberg, but it's on the chart. And she also merits a string, and so she's up on the Janko Schrager chart at the top left, and this is the Goldenberg tree here, and this is the Goldenberg Schrager tree. It is also quite long, and then off to the left is Paul Goldenberg's tree. We don't have Kathy's information. That's Paul's wife. It would be nice to have the information for everybody that married into the Schrager family, and so hopefully we'll have a further upgrade to all of this. Okay, so many strings, so many charts, and now we're going to get to the biggest of all of them. Tina Dubin, Dinsa Tuba. That was grandma's, my mother's grandmother. It was her mother's mother, and I'm named after her. My first name, David, is from Dinsa, and so and my second name is from Khan Uri, as you know. So it's from Harry Khan Uri. So all right. So Tina Dubin is a huge family chart. This is the Dubin line. And it, of course, is exceptionally long, as you can see. And coming off of that are, let's see, there's Schrager-Dubin. So there's Tina Dubin up here. That's Schrager-Dubin, and a number of names on there that figure into, my family life. And so we wrote some in there, but we'll be adding them to the chart itself. And also, Hyman Dubin is over here. He's culture up there, down to there. We have, this is the Paley Schrager chart. We talked about that. We have a con chart on here someplace, I thought. We've got Con Schrager. Well, the con chart didn't make it onto the table, but it will make it here because Meyer Kahn comes from Lillian Schrager, and that's so much of our history. All right, this is trying to be as unconfusing as possible here, but it ain't easy. The Fruchtman family tree, Fruchtman Kahn family tree, we go up to Michael Fruchtman. It was he who sailed over the Atlantic, and a lot of interesting stories coming from his time in Romania and his voyage over and his time in Minnesota. He married Ann Gittelman, and this is the Gittelman chart right here. That is the Fruchtman-Gittelman chart first, and then up to the right is the Gittelman family chart, as much as we know. I have a feeling that Sarla and Cynthia Fruchtman can help us fill in a lot more information on this, and we'll be trying to speak with them and collect that information. Over here, we've got, of course, Grandpa was a twin. His twin's name was Martin Fruchtman, and he married Deborah Samaski, and that is at the bottom right, the Fruchtman-Samaski family tree. And she also is from Milwaukee, so probably has quite a large tree. She was actually a Plotkin, and I think they have a very large tree. And then up on top is, leading up is the Samaski chart, leading down to Debbie, who Marty married. So that's what we have so far. That is your family. We're going to save this on video. We'll send it to a few others. And all of these documents are on their way to Dennis Paley. Lots of love, children, and I'm Yisrael Chai.